And I remember saying the sentence, like, when they stop being shit, I'll stop making them cry.
Shut up and sit down.
Thank you so much for being on the podcast. Latest guest for the Failing Optimist. We've got Allie Anapolsky. No, fuck, it's not fucking...
It is. I haven't changed my last name
we're
yet.
staying with Anapolsky?
Yeah. You could do Anapolsky Pacheco.
Whatever you want.
I haven't legally changed my name yet.
Yeah. Ain't no man telling me what to do.
No.
All right. Anapolsky Pacheco. You know, as is tradition in the podcast, Allie's going to do her own introduction, but I have the fondest memories when I first came to the US on my US entrepreneurial journey. I was very blessed to partner with a partner that was tolerant of my not so
politically correct.
I was going to say regulated, but perhaps politically correct is like I had to learn the American way, and you were understanding coach and partner. So
whenever you'd say something, I'd be like, "What he means is..."
Yeah. You were basically like my less offensive interpreter, which I appreciate deeply. I learned a lot from working with you for a couple of years. So thank you for your friendship and mentorship. And I don't want to do your introduction, so we're going to give you exactly 120 seconds to tell us your life story so far. So your time starts now.
Okay. So originally, I'm from Maryland.
Okay.
My parents are from Ukraine, the old Ukraine, like USSR.
Former Soviet Union.
Yes, exactly. So came here, $200 in their pocket, built up, a business, and my mom ended up computerizing the jury selection system in Maryland. My dad made a machine for Dunkin' Donuts. I have a sister 14 years older than me, which has been really interesting because I have nephews. I learned everything from her. I grew up just in a household where it was all very, it mattered. Every single move you make was looked at as, okay, is this furthering you in life? And, that's comes from an immigrant mentality. So University of Maryland, I was a Terp, go Terps. I was in a sorority. I'm very social.
I'm not surprised by that.
No, professional drinker.
I can vouch for that. There's a couple people. I feel very confident with my drinking ability. There's a couple people, even to this day, where they're like, we're going out. I can count on one hand people I feel like that about. But you're one of them.
I decided I wanted to pursue finance. So all my internships, finance related, everything I did, finance related. Decided I was going to do that after college. But I was in a sorority. So all my friends wanted to move to New York. We wanted to live like, Sarah Jessica Parker.
Yeah. I was
Carrie Bradshaw.
That was prime, like Sex and the City time. Okay.
And we were like, this is it. We're going to have Birkins. We're going to have Louboutins. And we're going to walk the streets of New York. And obviously, that's not how it works when you first move to New York with no money. I ended up getting a job in finance, which I'll get to. We put a wall up in our one-bedroom apartment. So we made a one-bedroom apartment into two. That's what we lived in, a shoebox. At the same time, the economic crisis of 2008. So the industry I was going into was failing. I went in, still started. It was horrible. Nobody was teaching me anything. I was like, I need to get out of here before I get eaten alive. So I, ended up in finding a place where they were going to teach me about sales, which I think that if you know how to do sales, you know how to communicate, you can do anything. I think it's a huge value proposition to any company. And then I saw the opportunity to build a business. And since I come from a very entrepreneurial background, I ended up opening my office.
How old were you when you opened your first business?
23.
Okay.
Which I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
But that's fine. People didn't know that. I come off pretty confident. Yeah, they didn't know. I didn't know. Built things up from there. I just really invested a lot of time into people. I love seeing people do well. And I think that was what I love most. And I ended up meeting, my husband, and we had a baby last year.
They were going to call it Flynn.
Right.
Last minute.
Just like literally I was in the hospital. I was like, maybe not Flynn.
Okay. Let's start with the questions. All right. You're the guest.
All right. Do you remember the first customer who completely lost their mind? I do.
Go.
So it was my second day in sales. up until then, I never really like received a lot of like rejection in my life.
I can imagine.
I mean, yeah. But we walk into this record store, B2B, and we walk in and he's just like, go ahead, you pitch. Cause it's my second day. It's like my time to shine. So, and I look at him and I can tell like, it's my people. Right. So I'm like, all right. So I start
I'm reading between the lines.
Yeah.
Okay.
My people, my tribe. So I'm like, his name's Mr. Goldberg.
The chosen people.
His name is Mr. Goldberg.
He was chosen. Mr. Goldberg was chosen. Okay.
I asked him his name. He said Mr. Goldberg. I was like, I got it. So I started talking and I couldn't even get out like my intro. He was like, what do you think we are? A bag of money? I'm a record store. Who do you think wants to buy records at this point in life? Like, what are you doing here? Why are you even talking to me? I don't have time for this. Get out of my store. Blah, blah, blah. Like, start screaming. So we walk out and after talking all morning long and talking how I normally talk, how you know me to be social, I didn't say a word for like 4 blocks.
Why would he talk to me like that?
And I literally was like, oh my God, what just happened? That was like crazy. Up until then, I was like pretty like sure that I could deal with rejection. But at that point, I was like, I can't do this. Yeah.
Faltering.
I was like, I'll never be able to do this. This is crazy. I'll never be able to hear another no. If like I don't want to pitch anymore. If the next person tells me no, I'm literally going to melt into a puddle and just wash away. And then we went into the next door and they said yes. No.
I think like, and then everybody said yes.
Wait, and then nothing else was as bad as that one.
Yeah.
So I was like,
okay.
You didn't even say no.
There's levels of.
You said maybe. I just didn't feel like talking to you anymore.
Yeah.
So
I chose.
I'm leaving.
I chose a no.
Exactly.
Mine was way more sinister than this. So I think I'd been involved with sales for about, I want to say it's like my 3rd week.
Mm-hmm.
And I had no intention of doing sales. I already had serious reservations about the life choices that I was making. I was like, I have master's degrees,
Mm-hmm.
And I walked into this real estate agent. And I think we were selling product at the time. We were selling like shit out of a bag. And I walked in and straight away, the first guy I talked to, I waved, and the first guy that smiled, I want to talk to this guy. Walk over, and he's like, hey, let's call him Greg. Well, fuck, I don't know his name is. Like, hey, my name's Greg. I was like, hey, I'm Flynn doing a promotion. And it's like, do you work for such and such? And he said the name of the person whose company I was working for at the time. And I was like, yeah. He's like, I know that guy. It's a scam.
Oh my God.
And I was like,
were you by yourself?
Yeah. He's like, take a seat. Let me tell you why. And for the next, I would say 10 to 15 minutes, he went through our whole business model, how it works from day one. Like, it's like, this is how they brainwash you. These are the things that they teach you. This is how it's a scam. The way that they pay you, if they pay you, is when this is the whole thing. Like, put together a super convincing argument. And by the end of the 10, 15 minutes, I was out. I was like, I've been fucking scammed. And he goes, but we're hiring.
Oh.
He's like, we're looking for people that can go do face-to-face sales. I was like, oh, you motherfucker. I was like, I see what you did. I grabbed my bag of shit and marched my ass out of there. The guy was so good. I was like, he almost ruined my entire career.
That's crazy.
Nicely done. I was like,
that's crazy.
Maybe real estate is for me. All right. What is the biggest lie that entrepreneurs tell? You have an answer?
I think the biggest lie entrepreneurs tell is that everything is always going well. Oh yeah, this is great and this is great. I've done this where like everything is going to shit, and I'm like, what do you mean? Like,
you mean the building's on fire?
Yeah, like everything's awesome. Like, look at my this and look at my that and then they start pointing everything out. This is all stuff that I have, and this is all stuff that I've gotten. I also think it's a little bit of a defense mechanism. They want people to know what they've accomplished. That's kind of part of entrepreneurialism, is like you are programmed to think positively.
I think a lot of the time when we do that, we're just talking to ourselves. We just happen,
Yeah.
like, there happens to be a person
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it wouldn't matter if you're not. This is the internal monologue I'm having.
This is what I'm telling. Like, I'm repeating to myself that I've already achieved this, and this. Yeah.
Everything's okay. Everything will be fine.
And everything's going to be okay. But that's like, I think that's the true mindset of an entrepreneur is like, you cannot think negative. You can't like...
It's insanity, right?
Yeah.
Like create, like almost by definition, if I was to describe, I was like, okay, cool. I went to a psychologist. Like, so often what I do is I just create these non-existent realities that I live in. My answer is we pretend, or I guess we lie, that when people we care about leave, it doesn't hurt.
Yeah, it's tough.
And kind of like you're saying, we're like programmed to go on and be like,
move on.
The business will be fine, which I also like genuinely, think is a necessity for ever being a successful entrepreneur. You have to believe like things are going to be okay. We're both a while into our entrepreneurial journeys. Even like 3 weeks ago, I had somebody that I invested a real like couple weeks of to, she came to my house and we hung out and introduced her to my people, and then just boom, like didn't show up for work, sent a text message, and I was like, that still hurts, we never get to show that to people, and we never get a chance to be like, no, that was bullshit, because I think, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'm sure you agree, I just can't comprehend behaving like that,
right?
And I can't comprehend why someone will behave like that towards me. But I think that's a necessary. I think if you don't have that feeling, you probably should stop being an entrepreneur. Like if you don't care when somebody that you care about leaves, I think that's probably the time to call it a day.
Totally agree. And because that means you don't really have like a vested interest in somebody's success.
Yeah.
And being an entrepreneur, you have to have vested interest in everybody else, because that's what makes you successful, is other people being successful. And if you don't care,
it's just alien to me. It's like people loyalty is a rare trait for sure.
I agree.
All right,
next one. When were you the toxic leader?
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Oh, poor
like this week,
poor Bart Yates.
Bart Yates is getting a lot of love on this podcast.
Okay, I do this thing with the guys where I have them do a self-evaluation, and I got it from years and years and years ago when I did it in Bart's off. Bart had done this like self-evaluation thing with us and put like all the core leadership traits.
Yeah.
And it was in general, like what you should be like as a human, what makes you like a good person, right? And like somebody that people want to follow. And I rate myself, and then you go over it with your leader. So you do this like monthly. Yep. So you have a starting point. So I like run a morning meeting about it, and then I have everybody do it. And then I'm like, okay, check in with your leader once a month, see what you've improved on. And every month we would go through everything, and high maintenance would be always at a 2.
This is like your school review, right? Your like monthly school review.
Yeah. So like
I can't believe anyone would say that about you.
High maintenance, was always at a 10 and then a 9. And it wouldn't even be an argument. It would just be the two of us were just like, in agreement that this is what's happening. But it stemmed from, and again, like this is part of me just like not understanding the psychology behind being a good leader and a good trainer. Every time I come back with somebody that like wouldn't get the results that I wanted them to, I would blame it on them and be like, they just suck. They just are bad at this. And I don't think they should be here. And I would talk like that about everything. And every single time for like months and months and months, Bart would give me the same answer. And it'd be like, Allie, they're just not you. Allie, they're just not you. And he keeps saying that. And I'm like, I don't know what you're saying.
What does that mean?
And how does that helpful? And every time I'd be like, okay, I get it. They're not me. What does that mean? I don't get it. And he's like, they're just not you. And after months and months and months, I finally understood what he was talking about. And he was just trying to say, like, I need to adjust my expectations of people, and that not everyone's going to catch on to things the same way I would, and that I can't expect them to. And it's my job as a coach to get the best out of them. So I can't just have one way to coach people. I have to learn how to coach all different types of ways. And then they can be them in a great way.
Yeah.
Versus me.
Be me.
They don't need to be me. We rely on really great people, finding the top talent.
Human resources.
You need people who are them, but that you've been able to get them to see the best in themselves.
Influence the best part.
And I didn't get that, but that was like the key and like secret sauce of being an amazing leader versus a toxic one.
This question for me should be like, how frequently have you been a toxic leader in your business? So the one I'm going to highlight, not a million miles away from what you're saying. So just coming from the sports background that I came from, I had a complete lack of empathy for anyone that wasn't awesome. I don't know if this was my upbringing or sports or whatever, but my mentality from the very first day of being involved with entrepreneurialism is, if I've got to work an 18-hour day today, it's an 18-hour day. You know, not that I'm excited to do that, but if it's 18 hours, it's 18 hours. If I've got to turn up at 5 o'clock in the morning, I've got to turn up at 5 o'clock. If I've got to go on a business trip at 10 minutes notice, all of this stuff just made sense. If I've got to go home and practice this thing 100 times to get good at it, then that's what I've got to go home and practice all the time. And as I started moving into a leadership role and building my own team, I just couldn't comprehend why people didn't behave like that. I think, both a blessing and a curse being around kind of high-level sports people. I've just been around high-level sports people for years, and they all thought that. So I'd just become accustomed to, this is how everybody thinks. And I remember it's probably like month 2, and my mentor at the time pulled me to one side. I just made my 5th trainee cry in 2 weeks. There's only 10 days in 2 weeks. It's like 50% of the time I made my trainees cry. And he's like, I can't keep putting people on your team if you're going to keep making them cry, because they don't come back after they cry, And I remember saying the sentence, like, well, when they stop being shit, I'll stop making them cry. I'd scream at people. I would be on an in-store event and I would scream at them. And then they start crying. I'd be like, fucking go sort yourself out, come back. I look at my early entrepreneurial journey. I just have no idea how I made it. The more that I do this podcast, the more that I talk about early stories. I was talking to my original mentor a couple of days ago. I was like, why did you keep me around? He's like, I don't really know. I was really hoping my manager was like, I saw something in you. I knew there was talent in there. And his actual answer was, I needed a drinking buddy. So, right. I was like, long-term success.
Well, at least you were able to offer that.
Yeah. Next question.
All right. What's the biggest compromise you've made that still doesn't sit comfortably with you? All right. Well, this is a twofold answer.
Okay.
I waited until last year to have kids because my goal was to get to a higher level in business.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't really regret that choice because I don't think I was like ready myself in so many different ways, but I still did wait. There were many conversations, many times with my husband, my family, and
we'll get to this stage with revenue and then we'll get to the stage of that.
Yeah. And I realized that you can't like wait to do something. It's not supposed to be equal. You just have to figure it out. And as an entrepreneur, I just feel like that's what being an entrepreneur is figuring stuff out. And at some point it kind of hit me in the face. I'm going to keep saying this until I can't.
It's never going to be the right time.
Yeah. It's never going to be the right time. It's never going to be, I think about, now that I have my son, like I could have had all these more years with him. At the time, like that's what I thought was the right thing to do. And for myself, for my business, there's a little,
should have done this earlier.
Yeah. No.
Well, your answer's awesome. And by comparison, mine's shit. Because mine's still ongoing.
That's not fair.
Yeah. Mine's still ongoing. I can't mention the client because we're still working with them. Maybe. So I'm working with a client at the moment. I'm going to keep this as nondescript as I can, as this would be a problem. They told us they were going to pay us a bunch more money, and we built some plans around that. And then at the last minute, they reneged and said, we can't do it right now in our budget. We do want to keep you as a partner. We promise you at the next budget review, which is in 3 weeks, the next budget review, we're going to make you more than whole for not. And you've known me for a long time. I don't really fuck around like that. When somebody says they'll do something, they either do it or like, I'm kind of out. So I've given these guys a chance. I give them the benefit of the doubt because they have fucked me once. There will not be a second time.
Right.
So I'm going against my better judgment, and it's not sitting well with me at all that we said we were going to do something that didn't do it. So yeah, that's an ongoing thing. But your baby answer was way.
That's not fair.
I'm like so petty.
I'm
like,
so sorry.
these
That's not
motherfuckers
fair.
Better pay us some more money.
Like,
you're like, I would like to bring new life into the world. All right. Well, you embarrassed me with that one.
Sorry.
Your question. Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. Who deserved more credit for your success than they ever received?
I'm happy this question came out.
Me too.
Do you want to go?
My mom.
Okay.
Everyone talks about my dad. My dad just wrote an autobiography. He translated in ChatGPT an entire autobiography of his life and his family and his history from Russian to English. And then we published it. And
your dad's been the main character, right?
Yes. I've always talked about him. I always say that, he's my hero. But my mom, like, she also came to this country with nothing, with a daughter who was 7, had to make sure, because, like, my dad was, working, but so was she. And my dad, listen, he's an involved dad, but not like my mom.
Different generation.
Yeah, not like my mom.
Generationally different.
Not only did she drive an hour to work every single day and work her way up in that company and drive an hour back and then cook for our family. We had dinner at home every night all together. Like,
Me too. That was my family experience.
We didn't go out to dinners. Like, my parents weren't like, they didn't grow up here. They don't even know what going out to dinner means. Like, you don't do that in Ukraine. I don't even think they're allowed.
You've compensated.
Oh, yeah. My caviar bar? Yeah. So
just so the listeners know, Allie had a birthday a couple of weeks ago.
Let's not say what age my birthday.
Yeah, it was 27.
Okay.
She had her 27th birthday party a couple of weeks ago, and there was a caviar bar, and I saw it, and I was like, of course there's a caviar bar.
Of course.
As there should be.
As there should be. So she drove an hour. She would come home. She'd make dinner for the family. She was the one who took us, bought all our school supplies, bought all our clothes, like, did everything. I mean, our homework, like, everything with us, and was working. And I remember, like, such a distinct memory. I would wake up like early. I'd go downstairs. My mom's like doing her makeup at 5 a.m. You would never see my mom like leave the house without makeup. Like, she just always looks like perfection. And she did that for 40 years. And not only that, in the meantime, she built her way up. She was a VP in her company. She worked for the government. She raised 2 daughters, can be on their own and independent and see what, like, a woman who clearly has it all together does. She had a crazy upbringing too. Her dad passed away, and she was just her and my grandma since she was 12. And so she saw such a great example of like a woman. Yeah, because my grandma was a pediatrician in Ukraine. And
basically your whole family's overachieved. What are you saying?
Yes.
Right.
But she doesn't get that same recognition. And I think she should write an autobiography. And I think she really made me, and especially now becoming a mom, I am like,
how?
Before I was like, dad. Now I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, you went off and invented something, did you?
Yeah.
What about the kids?
Dad, have you talked to mom? Like, have you ever talked to her? Because she's insanely amazing.
Yeah.
And that was like, so we all talk about dad because he lived the American dream. But
well, maybe we should talk about
mom is like,
I said mum.
Insanely, mum.
Mum's different.
Mum is insanely amazing too. You don't even have an answer for that?
No, I do. This is kind of a heartfelt answer, actually.
Okay. That wasn't heartfelt?
No. As in,
just checking.
I don't think I've ever said this out loud to anybody. Ever.
Whoa.
It's my sister. So my parents were both fairly successful people. Mum was a dentist. Dad was a kind of successful civil engineer, and then started his own business. And just in my kind of formative years, kind of 10 through 15, my parents just weren't around that much. Not they weren't absent, but they were doing the shit that they needed to do to provide for us. And my sister really had a huge hand in raising me, and probably more than anything else. I'm a massive extrovert. My sister's a huge introvert. Hopefully she has a chance to see this. She really taught me my moral compass of like what's right and wrong, and how to treat people and how to behave, because I was the super loud, outgoing, break things, set fire to things. Yeah, I know it's hard to believe. Be the center of attention.
Caveman.
Yeah, I'm a fucking caveman. Yeah. And she was like, she tempered that, and she said, you can't behave like this, and so much of the business ethics that I take into the way that I conduct myself as a person, if I'm being really honest, really come from my sister. And I don't think I've ever said thank you. So thank you, Kate. I don't think I've ever said thank you to her for being any part of my entrepreneurial journey, because she's not. She's like a teacher. She went straight down there, go to school, get a good job, work for a good company. Not there's anything wrong with that. We just took very different routes with very different people. But, in retrospect, a lot of the time I find myself saying, what would Kate do?
Wow.
And I don't recognize that enough. So big shout out to Kate.
Wow.
I've definitely never said that. Yeah. Go Kate. She's ginger though, so she needs all the friends she can get. No soul.
That's so funny.
True story. Money doesn't buy happiness. Discuss. I'm so happy you got this question. I think you might be the person. I don't even know the question.
Caviar bar.
Yeah, caviar bar.
People say money isn't everything, but I do think I am very excited with what my money buys, and it does make me really happy.
Okay.
I very much disagree with this, and I don't think it's like a vain response, but I think money affords you to be able to do a lot that makes you happy, and the freedom, the freedom to just be able to, if you feel like doing something and you know that you're feeling, down, and whoever you are, like for me, it's like go to a nice dinner and sit at the, my husband and I love omakase.
Okay.
And it's like a whole
experience.
Thing. Yeah. And they're expensive to do, but it's like the experience of it. And so we sit at the bar, that is my happy place, besides like a lot of other things that I like to do and places that I like to be. Yes, my child.
Okay.
Yes.
Just throwing it back in.
But I can't do that with the money. Controversially speaking, because, I work with charities, I understand also at the same time the meaning of people, not everybody has that. And I do also think that, people need to work for that. And I watched my family do that. And as much as people want to say like, money isn't, it was everything in my house, because they went from nothing to everything. And it created the legacy that is forever and ever and ever. Even my children and probably their children and probably their grandchildren, just what they did by moving us from what is now a war zone is like, it doesn't make sense. Like that is the American dream. And so money does, I believe, buy happy times, which can then create new experiences and perspectives, and you become more cultured and you see the world, and then you can help the way you want to help. And it makes me happy to help. And it makes me happy to see people succeed. And I wouldn't be able to do that if I didn't have money myself, where I'm comfortable and, can focus on others instead of just like killing myself every day for something for me.
So I grew up, my parents had failed businesses. They started businesses that fell apart. And I didn't find out about this until much later, like mid-20s, that we almost lost our house a couple times, and a bunch of stuff that my parents just sheltered us from. But I was very acutely aware that at certain points of my upbringing, we really didn't have very much money to spare. Because of that, I was think my parents became a little jaded towards the concept of like money buys happiness, because a lot of the problems that they ended up enduring were because they were chasing money. And I think they misrepresented. So like, I didn't have my first credit card was in the US because my parents had credit cards, going credit card trouble, and like credit cards are the devil, you know?
Right.
So I think I grew up with a little bit of a jaded opinion about money. And I certainly know wealthy people that are unhappy,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not unhappy because they're wealthy. They're unhappy because they're unhappy people.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to speak for other people, including you. I just know there's been times in my life when I've not had money.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been times in my life when I've had money. And there was a strong fucking correlation between how happy I was,
Right.
and how sad I was, you know,
Right.
or how worried, which you know, anxiety, sadness, you know, all these things kind of pull together. So I don't think that money does buy happiness, but it certainly buys the things that make most people happy.
Exactly.
You want to have a family?
Yeah.
Money helps with that. You want to live longer? Money helps with that. You want to travel? Money helps, you know.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, I've come to the conclusion that is a sentence that broke people and billionaires say.
Agreed.
I've seen a bunch of billionaires be like, money doesn't buy happiness. I'm like, so give me all your shit.
Yeah.
You know, okay. I think we've got time for one more question. All right. So make this a good one.
Okay.
Fuck yeah. It's my podcast, I'll do it. All right. It's going to be a good one. Okay. Last question. I hear all the time that women feel like they have to choose between family and career. What's your one-line response to that?
I mean, like, I don't want a smaller career for a family, and I don't want a smaller family for a career. I just want a bigger life.
Oh, have you practiced that?
No.
Oh my God.
I just feel like I just want to include everything.
That should be in a fucking greetings card. That was so good.
Well, I just want a bigger life. Like, I want to include everything and everyone in it. Like, my team meets my family. Like, they're involved. You know, they hold my future children. Like, I don't want to sacrifice anything. I don't want to, you know, there shouldn't be a sacrifice. I didn't grow up seeing that. Not in my mom, not in my sister. You know, they both had very plentiful careers and raised some amazing kids. This is all like generational, like thought process, you know, and everyone works and has amazing careers and things that they can talk about. Like, I don't want to limit that. I just want a bigger life.
Okay. That's so good. Obviously, I can't answer this question directly. And I have for sure seen many of my friends and friends' wives outside of the business make that choice. I just have been very fortunate to be around enough entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs. They're just like, yeah, no, one of our mutual friends, you know, I was the first call that she made when she got pregnant for the first time, unexpectedly, and she was in floods of tears.
Happy?
No. Nope.
It's one or the other.
Yeah, I don't want to reveal too much about this, but she was not in a stable relationship with the guy.
Okay.
They've since gone on to get married and, you know, built a life together, but that was not, I'm sure you can read between the lines. That was not the situation at the time. And she's like, she called me, she's like, I'm fucking pregnant. And I was like, do you want to keep it? Because, you know, as a guy, when you get that call, I'm like, yay, or, you know.
I would have asked the same thing, by the way. Not just a guy thing.
And she's like, yeah. I was like, okay. And she's like, how am I supposed to run a business? I was like, well, you own the building, build a creche. So she did. And ironically, her sister got pregnant at the exact same time.
Wow.
They had kids within, I think, 5 days of each other.
Wow.
And her sister works for her. And they just built a creche in the office.
Amazing.
And hired a nanny for like the 2 hours that were really busy in the morning. And the kids were in the creche. The nanny came in, she ran a business. And then I was like, okay. So I think I've just had a very, you were raised like that. I was not. But I've had the fortune of being around enough really strong female entrepreneurs where they're like, no, fuck it. I'll go. You know, I'll do it.
Well, it's so cool. Like, so part of being an entrepreneur is that you don't work for your business works for you.
Yeah.
And that's why entrepreneurial is so magical, because that is the truth.
We are at the end of our time. This is for sure been the longest podcast, by the way. This has been so fun. The time's really
I win.
crept up. Yeah. It's so funny. The more entrepreneurs I have on here, the more like, was I the best? Closing tradition. We ask every guest to give a question or submit a question that we would like to put in the bowl for future guests.
Okay.
So what's your question?
I love experiences and or
I like where this is
things,
going. Okay.
right? So what with your like, once you saved up enough or once you, felt good that you could drop a lot, of money at once, what is it that you did or bought?
It's a good question.
Okay.
I don't think I have an answer for that. I'm sure I'll figure it out. Awesome. Allie, you've been amazing.
Thank
Thank
you
you so much for your time. Thank you for everybody watching, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks.
Cheers, mate.